It is never too late to become a good person. A powerful lesson from an old Iranian story. A very long time ago, somewhere in the Middle East, there was a man who was a judge. One day, he decided to travel to Jerusalem on a pilgrimage. Since the journey would take a very long time, as traveling did in those days, he temporarily appointed his brother to take his place as a judge. He also entrusted the care of his wife to him. That was a terrible mistake. The judge's wife was very beautiful, and his brother had desired her for a long time. As soon as the judge left, his brother went to the woman and asked her to have a sexual relationship with him. But she refused, because righteousness, in this case chastity, was very important to her. Her husband meant so much to her that she was unwilling to do anything that could harm him, no matter the cost. After trying for some time, the judge's brother finally gave up. But then another fear entered his mind. If my brother comes back, the stubborn woman will tell him everything. Since he had failed in his wicked intentions toward her, he came up with an evil plan. Now that he was acting as judge, he gathered false witnesses and accused the woman of adultery. Through deception and trickery, he managed to issue judgment against her. The poor woman was sentenced to death by a stoning. They threw so many stones at her that she disappeared beneath them. Those cruel people, or perhaps it would be more accurate to call them ignorant, decided that burying her beneath a mountain of stones was enough. Leave her there, they said. She'll die underneath them. Beneath the pile of stones, the woman quietly moaned in pain and sorrow. As the sun went down, darkness covered the land. A villager happened to pass by and heard her cries. He removed the stones, found her wounded and barely alive, carried her home, and asked his wife to care for her until she recovered. Thanks to the kindness of the villager and his wife, the judge's wife slowly regained her health. She stayed with them, and in return of their help, they asked her to look after the little son. Everything seemed fine until another man noticed her beauty. A wealthy thief, a bandit. He asked her to have a sexual relationship with him. When she refused, he became furious and decided to kill her. What a cruel world those times were. Perhaps her only crime was her beauty. That night, while everyone was asleep, the bandit crept to her bed and drove a knife down with all his strength. But when he pulled back the blanket, he realized that the small boy was lying there. He had killed the wrong person. Terrified, he fled. Next morning, when she pulled back the blanket, she found the child's bloody body. At that very moment, the boy's mother arrived. "You wicked woman, you killed my son. They were right to stone you. I'll kill you myself." She grabbed the sickle and rushed toward her. But the villager arrived in time and stopped his wife from killing the judge's wife. Not all men are bad, and not all women are bad. Distraught and terrified, the judge's wife fled. Once again, she had no home, no family, and no protector. She wandered the roads carrying nothing except a few silver coins. Eventually, she reached the village. There, she saw a man hanging from a gallows, clothed to death. "What did he do?" she asked. The villagers answered, "He committed a crime. Either he must die, or someone must pay blood money for him. He cannot afford it." The woman said, "These few silver coins are all I have. Take them and let him go." When the condemned man was saved from certain death, tears filled his eyes. He fell at her feet and said, "My chaste lady, I will serve you for the rest of my life." They sat all together in a place that gradually became a monastery. Why? Because over time, people began to hear about the chaste woman living nearby whose prayers healed the sick. No matter what disease they had, no matter how severe or incurable it seemed. As fate would have it, all three people who had wronged her became ill. The judge's brother was struck by an incurable disease. The villager's wife developed a terrible skin disease, and the bandit suffered from unbearable pain. Meanwhile, the judge finally returned from his pilgrimage and asked about his wife. His brother told him, "She died, and I myself have become gravely ill." The judge loved his wife deeply, and he was overcome with grief. As news spread about the chaste woman whose prayers healed the sick, the judge's brother asked the judge to take him to her. Perhaps she could cure him. The villager's wife asked her husband for the same thing, and the relatives of the bandit also brought him to the monastery of the chaste lady. After waiting for some time, they were finally allowed inside. The judge's wife sat behind the curtain. From there, she immediately recognized them. She said, "Come closer. You will not be healed from your illnesses unless you confess your sins. When a person admits their wrongdoing, God shows them mercy." کنون بایدت عذر تقصیر گفت، نه چون نفس ناطق ز گفتن بخفت. کنونت که چشمی است اشکی به باد، زبان در دهانه است عذری بیا. کنون کوش کآب از کمر در گذشت، نه وقتی که سیلاب از سر گذشت. One by one, the three sinners confessed. The judge's brother said, "I desired a chaste woman. When she rejected me, I falsely accused her of adultery, and she was stoned unjustly. That is my sin." The villager's wife said, "A woman cared for my child. I wrongly believed she had murdered him, and I tried to kill her. That is my sin." The bandit said, "I saw a beautiful woman in a village and asked her for a sexual relationship. When she refused, I went to kill her during the night and mistakenly killed another person instead. That is my sin." After hearing their confessions, the judge's wife raised her hands in prayer. "Oh God, just as you have shown these people the humiliation of sin, let them also taste the honor of righteousness." The judge's brother, the villager's wife, and the bandit were all healed. Afterward, they remained at the monastery, serving God instead of serving their sins. The judge's wife no longer needed to remain hidden behind the curtain. She noticed that her husband kept staring toward the person sitting behind it. She asked, "Why are you staring so intently at the one behind the curtain?" The judge replied, "Because I once had a wife, and if she were not dead, I would swear that you are her." Well, you can probably guess what happened to the judge and his wife after that. No, I'm kidding. The original story actually ends right there. Because the point of the story wasn't whether these two were reunited. The point of the story was righteousness, or more broadly, staying away from sin. In modern language, staying away from wrongdoing. Wrongdoing toward yourself or toward others. The story says, do not sin. If you do, sooner or later, God will make you taste the humiliation that comes from it. But that is not the uniquely Iranian message of the story. It goes further than that. The story says, do not sin because one day you will taste the humiliation of sin. And when that day comes, you may be given another chance. A chance to taste the honor of righteousness. Just as the judge's wife carried that honor from the very beginning, when she lay beneath a mountain of stones and seemed to be the loneliest woman in the world. Thank you for listening to this beautiful Iranian story. My name is Amin, and here I try to share some of the best stories from Iran. Stories that still have much to teach us today. If you enjoyed this one, consider following the channel so I can tell you another story in the future. By the way, the story appeared in 1001 Nights. Until the next story, take care of yourself and your families.